Welcome into Prescription for Healthy Lifestyles. We hope you've been watching us on our website, catching up on good things at rxhealthylife.com. I'm Edie Hand.
And I'm Dr. Daniel Potts.
We've got another good show this week.
We certainly do, Edie, and these are some folks that I've known for a long time.
Since childhood, right?
Absolutely. Dr. Brent Boyett and his wife Sandra and their friend Preston. I've known Brent since we were almost in the same house together from the time we were born, because I lived very close to them growing up, and Brent and I are just dear friends. Brent actually was in my wedding. We were college roommates. And then Brent not only wanted to go to dental school, and he went to dental school and became a dentist, he then went to medical school, osteopathic school out in Kansas City. So Brent is a board-certified family practitioner and also a dentist. How about that?
That was amazing to me. And his wife is a nurse anesthetist, I think.
Sandra is a nurse anesthetist, a cardiac ICU nurse, and she not only is that, she is a wonderful cook and mother to their 2 children.
Well, we found that out. Now,
Absolutely.
she's going to be cooking up something in the kitchen for us, too.
Ooh, Chilean Sea Bass, as I understand. And you know, we're talking about brain healthy, heart healthy foods. That is certainly a brain and heart healthy
And Preston, tell us about Preston that's going to be on the show.
Preston is from South Carolina, and Preston met Brent in Hamilton in their home there. Preston actually and Brent both are doing a ministry of sorts in the clinic there with addiction medicine. Preston is very interested in addiction medicine, and so they've got stories to tell us about the appropriate way to handle addiction medicine.
And I find that very rewarding for our viewers because he has walked what he's talking.
He certainly has, and doesn't mind sharing that with you.
Well, you're going to learn all about this if you'll stay with us right here on Prescription for Healthy Lifestyles.
Prescription for Healthy Lifestyles is brought to you in part by Boyett Health Services of Alabama, offering complete medical and dental care.
If you woke up with pain this morning, you are not alone. Estimates are that nearly 1/3 of Americans will experience chronic pain at some point in their lives. Optimal Pain Control by Franklin Pharmacy works directly with your physician to create a pain cream for your unique needs. Our staff of pharmacists has over 30 years experience in compounding. OPC by Franklin Pharmacy's custom formulas are created for you to maximize pain relief while minimizing side effects. From minor aches to severe neuropathic pain, let us be your partner.
This is Dr. Pineda. He's a cancer specialist, a chef, and a cookbook author. Dr. Pineda went back to school to combine medical science with the culinary arts. Today, his dishes help relieve the side effects of cancer treatments and restore appetites stolen by the disease. Sometimes, success starts when someone realizes that the best medicine doesn't always come from a lab. It comes from the heart. Virginia College, your success starts here.
Enjoy the latest books from Edie Hand. A portion of sales benefit charities such as St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Visit www.ediehandfoundation.org or your local or online bookstore. Pick up your copies today. A Pocket Guide for the Alzheimer's Caregiver by Dr. Daniel Potts and his wife Ellen helps you understand this disease and get the best care possible. Go to alzpocketguide.com or any online bookstore for your copy.
There's an art to making tea. At Red Diamond, it begins with tea leaves and nothing else. We remove the stems and twigs that come with the tea, leaving just the leaf for a flavorful, refreshing taste. There's an art to making the perfect pitcher of tea, and we practice it every day. Drink fresh. Drink Red Diamond.
You're watching Prescription for Healthy Lifestyles with Edie Hand and Dr. Daniel Potts.
Welcome back to Prescription for Healthy Lifestyles. I'm Dr. Daniel Potts here with Edie Hand, and we have 2 special guests on our show today, Dr. Brent Boyett and Preston Weathers. Welcome to both of you guys.
Thank you.
We appreciate you being on the show. We're going to talk about a problem that's a growing epidemic in our country. And Dr. Brent, tell us a little bit about how you got into addiction medicine and what the problem is here.
I sure will. I had a little bit of addiction training in residency, enough to appreciate the science of addiction. But it wasn't until I got back into a primary care practice in rural Alabama that I realized what an awful problem addiction was. And specifically in our area, we saw a lot of prescription pain pill addiction in the area. And this is a problem that not only wrecks the patient, but also wrecks the family structure and wreaks havoc and just basically replaces control in the family with chaos. And I saw how it brought both physical downfall to the patients and also economic, spiritual, emotional, and mental collapse through the patient and their families. And I thought, this is something that really needs to be addressed in our community. So I began to seek out some extra training and begin to focus my practice in addiction. And so that's the reason that I personally got into it.
Right. So Preston, when a patient comes to the clinic with an addiction problem, what do you sit down and tell that patient that's going to help them get out of their problem? In other words, what steps do you outline for them? What principles do you give them?
Right. Well, Danny, most of the time when patients come to us in the clinic, they are broken. And we take the approach to sit down, talk with them. We go over some guidelines, first and foremost, with our Suboxone patients mostly. Set forth our guidelines of what we expect of them, and then we get emotional with the patient. We find out, really what brings you in today? Why have you decided to seek out help? To make sure that the patient is truly there for the correct reasons. And most of the time we find that they are there for the right reasons. That families have become dysfunctional. And our main goal and focus is to put, as Dr. Brent said, focus back in the family, function back in the entire family.
Right. So you have these procedures that you go through to give the patient some guidelines to go by.
I tell patients usually, I say, if you look at an addiction patient from a distance, you see that particular person tends to have more than their fair share of bad luck. They can't pay my bills, I can't, my family unit is falling apart, my marriage is falling apart, I can't keep a job, those sorts of things. But if you take a closer look at the disease process itself, it's bad decision making that creates the bad luck. And so we start with the premise that we have a disease. Accepting the diagnosis of addiction and calling yourself an addict is the first step to getting recovery. And then we look to replace that chaos that follows addiction with control. And that's the goal and that's the purpose of addiction therapy, is to get a person back into the game of life.
Right, and that's a very important goal. We will be right back with more statistics and helpful information about addiction on Prescription for Healthy Lifestyles. Stay tuned.
Prescription for Healthy Lifestyles is brought to you in part by The Vein Guides. Better legs, better life.
Fresh and flavorful. That's Red Diamond tea. It tastes that way because it's made that way. Every day we brew our tea fresh from tea leaves, not mixes or powders. Made fresh and delivered fresh to your grocery, ready to drink. There's an art to making the perfect glass of iced tea, and we practice it every day. Drink fresh. Drink Red Diamond.
Enjoy the latest books from Edie Hand. A portion of sales benefit charities such as St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Visit www.ediehandfoundation.org or your local or online bookstore. Pick up your copies today.
Hi, I'm Sarah Evans here with friends Rollins and Kumar. They're here for care at the Alabama Center for Childhood Cancer and Blood Disorders, the largest provider of cancer care for children and young adults in the state. At Children's, we treat every form of cancer, and we're committed to a cure. You can be too. Donate now so thousands of kids like Rollins and Kumar will celebrate lots of birthdays, including their own.
Hi, I'm Edie Hand.
And I'm Ronnie McDowell.
And I'm Georgette Jones.
Together, we'd love to ask you to support the Children's Miracle Network Children's Hospital.
That's right, Edie. Your local children's hospital provides state-of-the-art care, life-saving research, and preventative education for children 24 hours a day.
And we need your support to continue helping make life better for others. Just log on to childrensmiraclenetwork.org. We believe together we can have those miracles.
You're watching Prescription for Healthy Lifestyles with Edie Hand and Dr. Daniel Potts.
Welcome back to Prescription for Healthy Lifestyles. I'm Dr. Daniel Potts with Edie Hand, and we're here with our guests, Dr. Brent Boyett and Preston Weathers, talking about addiction medicine. Now, Dr. Brent, tell us, how big is the magnitude of addiction here in this country?
Danny, the magnitude is huge. As a matter of fact, the CDC reports that since from the period of time from 1999 till 2006, pain pill prescription abuse has increased threefold in that 15-year period. It's increased 3 times what it was. Sharp increase. In fact, the CDC has designated this in terms of a public health crisis as an epidemic, and the epidemic is not a term that they throw around lightly. Opiate abuse, specifically pain pill prescription abuse, is in an epidemic proportion in the United States, and this has really come on in the last decade. What we see is that the face of addiction is different than what many Americans perceive or preconceive about what it looks like. We're not talking about seedy underworld characters. We're talking about mothers, fathers, grandparents, teenagers, people that are in the community, people that you go to church with, people that you go to school with, people that you work with on the job, that fall into the grips, the slippery slope. Very often it's innocently from their doctors. They go and are prescribed opiate pain pill for aches and pains or an injury, and in a matter of weeks they're hooked, both psychologically and physically. When they try to withdraw, they actually develop symptoms of diarrhea, sweaty, palpitations, and their mind becomes fixated on where can I get some more prescriptions. And subsequently, this whole pursuit of prescription pain pills leads to things like doctor shopping, which is cases where one patient sees many doctors. And then also the drugs, the prescription pills are on the street as well, and they have a street value. Right. And so, and this is particularly what we see in the rural areas of the United States. Traditionally, opiate abuse was heroin addicts, and we know what that stereotype is the person with a needle in their arm in the back alley of an urban area. Mm-hmm. But opiate abuse has gone more into mainstream communities and more into prescription type medications. And so that's what we're seeing now. And it's wrecking families and it's wrecking individuals.
Right. Preston, tell me what kind of patient that you see? I mean, do you see folks that are mothers, that are very grandmothers, community dwellers here in this community and others that come in and see y'all?
Very much so. Just as he said was, you know, the majority of our patients are working people. Right. And they get to a situation to where they become so dependent on opiates that they cannot literally go to work in the mornings without 3-4 Lortabs to make it to work. Throughout their day, they become dysfunctional as they're working. Right. Because your mind is getting so clouded on the opiates, and at some point in time you have to hit rock bottom. And that's where we see a lot of our patients as working people, working class people that you meet every day walking down the street and would have no idea that they're actually an addict.
So they're functioning barely getting by.
They're just on the edge.
Right.
And normally when they come into their office, they're seeking help and they're begging for help. They're wanting to find out, how can I stop this chaos of my life?
So and this motivation, you know, that they've reached rock bottom, so now they're seeking out and reaching out.
And let me also say this, Danny, not only does it result in dysfunction and chaos in the family, but it also is a killer. Right. In 2006, which is the most recent statistics that we have from the CDC, between 13 and 14,000 Americans died in 2006 from prescription pain pill overdose. That's death. Over 120,000 ER visits from prescription pain pill overdose in the ER. So it's a big public health crisis in terms of death, mortality, and also the cost of the healthcare system, which, as we all know, is in a situation that is unsustainable.
Absolutely, absolutely. Well, give our viewers some guidance. If they or someone they know may have an addiction problem, what should they do?
The first thing I would suggest that anyone does is don't be afraid to confront. Sometimes just calling a spade is what it takes to start the healing process. Don't be afraid to say, I'm afraid you have a problem with your pain pills, or I'm afraid you have a problem with your nerve pills. And don't be afraid to go to your doctor and ask for a referral if your doctor is not comfortable with treating addiction. Ask for a referral to an addictionologist or a psychiatrist who's trained in addiction and treating it as a disease. And also, don't be afraid to call it what it is to yourself. In other words, it is a disease. there is help for it, and you can regain your function back, and you can regain your quality of life and get yourself back to becoming a person who contributes to society rather than a person who seems to be a victim of society. And that's the key that I would say.
Do you have a website or way that people could get in touch with you?
It's BoyettHealth.com. That's all one word, BoyettHealth.com. And you can reach us over the website. Also, we're on Facebook as well.
Okay.
And so our goal and our real passion is to help restore function back to people who have become dysfunctional.
This is an important message. We thank you for tuning in with us today, and we'll be right back on Prescription for Healthy Lifestyles.
Prescription for Healthy Lifestyles is brought to you in part by Children's of Alabama, 100 years caring for children.
Huddle up. Scott Crump Toyota. Camry option. 35 MPGs. $199 a month. Head in the game, Bubba. Roll savings on 3.
Break! Hey, Alabama, let's roll on savings in the new 2012 Corolla. $179 a month or new Camrys. Roll for $199 a month. 0 down deliver, 0% financing available. Plus, make no payments till fall. Roll savings! At Scott Crump Toyota.
We'll do whatever it takes.
Enjoy the latest books from Edie Hand. A portion of sales benefit charities such as St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. Visit www.ediehandfoundation.org or your local or online bookstore. Pick up your copies today. A Pocket Guide for the Alzheimer's Caregiver by Dr. Daniel Potts and his wife Ellen helps you understand this disease and get the best care possible. Go to alzpocketguide.com or any online bookstore for your copy.
Hi, I'm Edie Hand, here for Scott Crump Toyota in Jasper. Scott and I have teamed up to bring a program to your community to encourage and educate children on the importance of mentorship and self-esteem. Visit our websites. Hi, I'm Edie Hand with Prescription for Healthy Lifestyles. And joining me is two good friends, Jeff Godfrey and Tim Aaron, who is the founder of Optimal Pain Control. This cream really works. It's helped me with my pain, and it can you. OPCRX.com.
You're watching Prescription for Healthy Lifestyles with Edie Hand and Dr. Daniel Potts.
Hi, welcome into Prescription for Healthy Lifestyles. I'm Edie Hand.
And I'm Dr. Daniel Potts.
You are?
I am. Adorned in pink.
Well, I like you wearing your pink apron. And you know, we have a great cooking segment today with one of your longtime friends.
Absolutely. Sandra Boyett, love her to death.
Hello. Thanks for having me.
Well, I mean, she's also a nurse anesthetist, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
As well as being a chef.
Oh, well, I call myself a chef at home anyway.
You are a chef.
Oh, you are a chef. You are a chef.
I love it.
And what are we going to be cooking today?
We're doing something great. We're having sea bass, and it's Chilean sea bass, not just the regular sea bass off the coast of California. And that's going to be served over a farro grain, old grain, cooked in a chicken stock. And then we're going to top that with a soy reduction. And it is absolutely delicious, and it's so easy. And
That's what we like.
It's so easy. We got to get things easy so people will start cooking at home, having dinner time with their families.
That's
important.
and
talking. You know, we got to get our kids on the right track and give them a firm foundation.
I believe that. I mean, we're talking to rural America.
Absolutely. We've got to do it, and there's no reason why we can't do it.
And we all grew up that way.
We did. Dinner time
Absolutely.
conversation was so important to all of us. It's wonderful that we're bringing that up.
All right, so let's get into this recipe.
All right. This has been patted. This is sea bass, Chilean sea bass, patted, salted, peppered. It's going into a hot skillet.
Okay.
And you'll hear a sizzle. There it goes.
You missed your job.
There we go. He missed his
what was I
job.
supposed to do? Put the fish in? I'm sorry.
Danny is going to put our farro grain into our chicken stock that we've got hot.
Okay.
And let's put about
Is there
half of
any,
that.
is there any special way to do this? I mean,
Gently.
Gently. Okay. All right. Here we go.
And I'm going to stir just a little bit as he does that. Let's put about half of it, Danny, since we've
You put that on medium heat,
It
Sandra?
is, and I brought the chicken stock to a boil, and the stock's just going to give us a lot of flavor, you know. And to that, we're going to put some chopped ginger.
Okay.
How much ginger is that? Just
tablespoon or two.
Tablespoon.
I thought you said I could put that in too.
Here you go, and then we got garlic that's going in, about a tablespoon of chopped garlic, half of that,
About
half of that.
Okay.
Now, we're going to hold off on the salt just a little bit because this has a soy reduction on top of it. And as you know, soy sauce is really salty. So that's the one thing with this recipe that you kind of have to be careful about. But other than that, we're going to cook this in this skillet until these get brown on the bottom. It's going to take about 5 minutes, maybe 7, and then we're going to transfer it to the oven if you like, and I do that sometimes, or you can just leave it on the stovetop until your meat becomes like tender and flaky, and you can tell when it gets done. But sometimes if I've got guests and I'm entertaining, I'll just stick it in the oven to get it out of the way so we're over here and we don't knock it.
And by the way, we love your kitchen.
Well, thank you.
And love your
I love it too.
farm. Yes.
Listen, it's a great place. We entertain here. We have lovely people like you to come in, and it's always so much fun, you know, and it develops relationships, and the relationships just go out with you throughout life.
Food is so important. Food is so important for relationship development, right?
It is, and we've talked about that. That's what you're trying to do with your program, what you've been doing.
Absolutely.
I mean, your husband's a physician, you're a professional, but you want to bring the food back into the home in a different way where they'll sit down and have a meal together.
Absolutely. It's amazing to me, Edie and Danny, the number of women that I know that work in our clinic who do not cook, and they don't mind telling you they don't cook. So we need to bring, you know, cooking back into the home. We need to make it easy. We need to be passing this on to our children so that when they're grown, they've got some memories and they've got something to pull from, and then they know how to cook.
Right. And we're going to put this recipe on our website, which is rxhealthylife.com. And what's your website?
It is BoyettHealth.com, and there's no E on Boyett, and all the recipes are on there. And I would love for you to come and check that. We're just going to leave that like that.
Okay. Oh, you just leave it like that?
Just leave it. Yeah.
And may I tell you,
I like
folks,
to touch it.
I've had a meal here, more than one, okay, and that's why I keep coming back for it. It's really good.
I love it. The thing about leaving it like that, it's going to get really brown, and we're going to show you the finished product on the bottom.
Yes.
And so when you serve it, you just flip it right over.
Okay.
And it's so pretty, and you put that soy reduction, and it just glistens, and it's just beautiful.
Gives it a nice glaze.
Yes. You know, I want to mention this, that Harvard they've conducted some studies, and you know, Harvard reputation is pretty good, is that right?
Yes, wonderful, yes.
If you have family time, family dinner time around the table, whether it's at a restaurant or at home with your children, and you actually have conversation, all right, then you can greatly reduce the chances of them smoking, doing drugs, smoking marijuana, drinking alcohol. You can increase their grades by 1 whole letter grade, because vocabulary is enhanced, and when vocabulary is enhanced, they read better, and it's just all around, it's just perfect thing to do, good for family, good for, you know, relationships.
It is.
Great
and so
advice.
when we pull all this together,
yes,
and
ma'am.
then it takes, what, maybe 20 minutes in putting it together?
It's going to take about 20 minutes for the farro to
And this
cook.
is what we have as our finished product.
That's exactly right.
Boy, that looks good. I can't wait to try that, and this crew
We're
can't
going
either.
to. That's right.
Where's the fork?
We're going to dig in. Right there it is. And it'll be great.
But thank you for joining us today. And we want people to be able to check this out on our website. So we hope you'll tune in to us next week on Prescription for Healthy Lifestyles with Edie Hand
and Dr. Daniel Potts.